Hello everyone, welcome back for yet another Star Trek Starships collection review. At long last, I have in front of me issue 136, the Cardassian Keldon class, one that I've really been looking forward to and really excited about, because this is probably the Cardassian ship that I've always wanted outside of the Grimal, that is. And of course we have a magazine and a ship nearby, so I'll just dive right onto the magazine and let's go on. So here's the magazine. Cardassian Keldon class is considered a warship, launched in the 24th century of course, 371.88 meters long, and it has a maximum speed of warp 9.6. And it got an awesome image of the ship on the cover. Turn the page, and you have your table of contents, stand assembly guide, and as well as other information. And it was operated by the Cardassian Union, again a warship in operation in the 2370s. Has a crew of 500, can go as fast as warp 9.6, and has 9 disruptors. And here's a good article on the Keldon itself, with a beautiful image of the cover. Well, a beautiful image of the ship. That is not the same as the one on the cover, so that's nice. And there's more images there as well. There are more screen caps there, as well as more text and information. And the centerfold showing you where all the various components are, as well as trivia on both sides there. And here's a great comparison between the Galor class or Galore class and the Keldon class. A lot more detail there. I'm glad they put that in this magazine. And finally, here's a section on the Dominion arc, which I have to say, it's pretty great that they put this in here, and I'm glad this really is a comprehensive part, because it really talks about my favorite, probably my favorite ongoing story arc in all of Star Trek, which is the Dominion War. So you have this, and then that continues on for another few pages, and more images and screenshots from the war. And finally, we end with the on-screen appearance page. Its first appearance was in the episode Defiant in Season 3, which coincidentally also was the appearance of, well, William Riker, or rather Thomas Riker, the transporter duplicate from Star Trek The Next Generation of Will Riker, seen in the episode Second Chances, I think it was. So basically it's alluded to or referenced that he joined the Maquis at some point, and so yeah, and I guess he went aboard DS9, stole the Defiant, and tried to uncover a secret Cardassian base in the Orion system, and in the process encountered some Keldon class ships which seemed to be operated by the Obsidian Order. So anyway, and of course the episode that they were really featured in would be the Dies the Cast, when the Obsidian Order and the Romulan Tal Shiar tried to annihilate the Founder's homeworld. And, well, I'll let you watch the episode to see how that turned out. But we got to see those ships engage in battle, and ever since then I've always wanted one. So now, back to this. And interestingly enough, I just noticed that the actress who played Captain Rachel Garrett in yesterday's Enterprise on Next Gen was actually, I believe, the Obsidian Order. What was her name? Corinas. So that was kind of interesting. I didn't realize that after all this time. So yeah, and next time I look forward to sharing with you the Xindi Primate starship. So as soon as I get my hands on it, I'll be happy to share it with you. Unfortunately, it'll be a while because Ego Moss sent me the Keldon, of course, but they sent me issue 135, and I already got that last month, as you well know. So anyway, now the magazine is concluded with an awesome image of the ship there, and it's time to get into the model itself. All right, and here it is, the model itself, right here. Pretty cool. A little smaller than I expected. Actually, I'm just kidding. And now here's the model itself. Not kidding this time. Look at that, the Cardassian Keldon. Wow, look at that. That is amazing. I have been looking forward to this ship for so long, and it was on my top like 10 wish list of ships that I wanted to see in model form, and this was one of them. And it looks far superior to the Cardassian Galore that we got ages ago. And this has like a little bit more detail on it, a little bit more insignia, and especially right there. And let's see, I thought I saw it somewhere else. It's also right here, and it's also at the bottom. You get a little Cardassian font there as well. And it's also on the sides of the ship there, on both sides. I mean, Eaglemoss, why couldn't you have been this good with the Galore? The paint, I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but close enough, right? And the disruptor is kind of clear, so that's always cool. To my knowledge, there weren't any visible engine points. That's not true. There's this here, and that's a little bit of a bummer that they weren't painted or anything, clear plastic. Let me actually check the magazine to see if there's, yeah, see, in the magazine, on this rendering of the ship, you can actually see this little impulse engine here, I'm going to guess. And the actual molding is there, and on this side as well, but there's no difference color, there's no difference, there's nothing on this model that suggests that, oh, this is the impulse engine, because it looks like it's just another molded part. And that's a bit of a bummer. The added fins are fantastic, and there's a lot of detail down here, and it's just absolutely exquisite in my opinion. And these fins, or whatever they were, I wish they actually explained what they were, but they didn't. It's pretty spot on, a lot of good detail, and it looks like there's some sort of dish or deflector or something, tractor beam emitter or something in there. And the front of the ship looks fantastic. And curiously enough, the design of the ship, the shape, the overall shape is based on the symbol of the Cardassian Union. So that's kind of cool. And I'm very, very happy with it. And Eaglemoss did a real fantastic job here this time. And I just want to say that if you're thinking of picking this up, you should. Especially if you love DS9 and you love Cardassians, not the Kardashians, but the Cardassians. And, you know, it's a bit unfortunate that we never saw more of this throughout the run of DS9. We only saw it like 3 times, I think. Saw it in Defiant, and then again after that we saw it, or several of them, in the Dies to Cast, maybe a few episodes later, in which for the most part they were almost annihilated by the Dominion. So it's really unfortunate. And some of these things had cloaking devices, Romulan cloaking devices. So that was kind of cool, and I thought that was a unique feature. And again, it's a real pity we didn't really see them again, especially when the war really started to heat up in like late season 5, season 6. So yeah, that is the Cardassian Keldon. I would definitely recommend picking it up. It sits in your hand about like that. So it's pretty cool, not too heavy, and plastic down here. And the fins are metal, of course. And then this is also metallic with some other plastic parts thrown in for good measure. as well as the fin and the other fins and tail and all that stuff back there. This is definitely a worthy model to have in your collection. And I think, now that I think about it, this is the third Cardassian ship that we've gotten. The first being the Galor class, or Galor class, depending on how you want to say it. And that was early on. And then we got, not too much further on, the Hideki class, or the Cardassian shuttle or fighter or whatever. And then we got this. Now, I am in the hopes that one of these days we'll get the Cardassian Grimal, which was the freighter that Gul Dukat was in command of during the episode Return to Grace. And I think it was seen, or the type of ship was seen in other various episodes. But I really want that ship. And so, fingers crossed, and here's hoping. But this is a pretty good model, and I'm very, very happy with it overall. Aside from the Impulse Engines blunder, it's pretty awesome. And I love that it has a lot of Cardassian symbols pretty much all over it. And there's like, and I also just noticed there's like some Cardassian hieroglyphics or language or font or whatever that is there, which I didn't notice before. And also, I also didn't notice is that the symbol is down here at the bottom of the fin of this command area up here. It's on the top, but it's also in the bottom as well. And you get a little bit more of the language font. I'm sorry the camera doesn't quite focus on it, but trust me, it's there. And it's great. A lot of detail. And again, Eagle Moss, why couldn't you have been this good with the Gallo class? I don't know, right? So yeah, that is the Gallo class. I mean, that is the Keldon class. And I'm going to be quiet now and show you what this thing looks like on its stand, because this is something that you're going to want to have. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments or anything, drop me a line down below and I'll do my best to answer them. So until then, live long and prosper. Also, quick side note, I forgot to mention earlier that this is the only time that this ship has ever been released in any form, with the exception of this micro machine from Galoob from many, many years ago. God, I can't believe it's been that long. But this came out about in the late 90s, around the time when the show was actually on the air. And you know what? This was in the infamous Star Trek Micro Machines Collector Set 3, which is probably the hardest one to find, the rarest of the bunch to find, and probably the most expensive on eBay and other random places you'll find it. I never did get that set, but I got most of the ships over time from that set, and this being one of them. So, and I know the Caretaker's Array and others are really expensive, but this one, aside from this is the only time that the Keldon has ever been released physically. So until this came out, this is all we had. So definitely check it out, and definitely get your hands on this Cardassian Keldon, because it is definitely worth it. And I'm pleased with it, and I'm sure you will be too.